Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Rockability here, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock video. Today we are returning to the multi-item categorizable sorting system in order to fix and improve the speed and size of this machine. If you haven't already seen the first video, the link is on the screen and in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and click the like button if you enjoyed this video. And with that done, let's get into the video. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is how we're going to be able to shorten these rails. So every time the minecart hopper wants to sort an item, it has to go through this entire long system, which takes a long time, and then it has to come all the way back. So in order to increase time, we're going to make it so that if it finds an item in one of these sorter chests, it will come straight back up and up to the top. Now, this will only work if you do a U-shape. For example, if you did what we have here originally, but you just made it a straight line, there's actually no way that we're able to increase the rail time. So if you did a U-shape here and you want to increase the rail time, just do as I have done. So we're going to have some redstone torches over here. So anytime that one of these items is removed, so I'm just going to get one of these items and remove it, you'll see the redstone torch went on. And that's going to switch this rail, allowing the minecart hopper to just come all the way back up, replace the item, go straight off to the drop-off zone. So with that, let's build it. So if we come over here, you're going to want to place one block off of every single one, and then put one redstone dust. Then we're going to put redstone torches. Then you're going to get one block down. We're just going to connect these all and put some redstone dust. And then we'll go one block down and go straight in. Now, depending on your distance, you might need a repeater or a torch there. For example, if I put a redstone block here, and that would be for the farthest torch, you can notice it powers it, because when I break the redstone signal, it changes. So I do not need a repeater there, but depending on how long your sorter is, you might need to put a repeater right here. And that would just add a little bit of delay, but that shouldn't affect anything. Now, depending on your orientation of your entire system, it might end up being something like this. When the torch goes on, it would keep it normal, but when the torch goes off, it straightens the track out. In that case, instead of having a repeater here, you're going to want to put a torch. And obviously that does the same thing, except because of the orientation, the track wants to be like that when powered, and the track wants to be like that when not powered. And then all you have to do is just do a simple rail line like this, using the simple elevator trick that we used in the rest of the sorting system. Alright guys, now that you got the rail done, now we're going to work on the 64 item detector. So I was testing this and I don't think it officially worked 100% of the time in the previous one, but the basic idea from this is the minecart hopper can only take 63 items or less every load, otherwise it would not actually filter out the items. So the basic idea from this is it allows it to take 64 items and deposit all 64 of those items in one load instead of the normal load of 2. So before we get started and doing all that, you need to go over to your sorting system and we're going to need to break some stuff. Okay guys, when you finish breaking all your blocks, it should look something like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a comparator here, and then we're going to put a block right above that. Then we're going to have a block right there with 2 redstone dust, a repeater on 3 ticks, another block, and redstone dust. And here we're going to have an upward facing dropper. And then also make sure that this comparator is on subtract. If that is not on, then this whole system will not work. So make sure you get that right. Then we're going to bring this up another one, and then don't do that. we need to make sure that we bring it over to the side one. Then we're going to bring it up again. And then up a second time. And then using 2 hoppers, we're just going to connect it to the rail right here. So we're going to connect it right there. So the arrow is going to that rail. And 1 in like that. Once you get this done, get out your observers and do as I do. So first, 1 up. I'm going to do 1 to the side. I'm going to do 1 in. So not down, but in. That will work. It's not giving me the angle I need. So I'm going to come right in here. Right like that. I'm going to go up, over, and in. Just like that. Once you do that, guys, you have actually finished the 64 item detector system. So once we finish that, let's move on to the minecart unloading system. Alright guys, so before we start working on renovating the unloader, let's first talk about why it needs renovating. So first of all, some of you guys probably noticed this in the first video. There's a redstone block right beside a hopper. That's going to be locking that hopper, so that hopper's obviously going to do nothing. And even if we did remove the redstone block, this hopper minecart is going to go under this hopper right here all the time, therefore picking up items from that can therefore reduce the speed or efficiency of this. So we're going to just remove some of this and move the chest, giving us more room and making this faster and better. So we'll put the chest sideways like that, and then we'll put a hopper right in there, break these 2 previous hoppers. Now we are not going to actually need this. We're going to move it over so it's right underneath the hopper. Redstone block there. Rails all the way up. Like that. Then here we are also going to want a tilted rail. So I'm just going to put a block there. Go a block up. Tilted rail. Break the top block. We can then go 2 more blocks. And then we'll need a trapdoor. And yes, a lot of times for these redstone things, we want to use an iron trapdoor, but because this is not getting powered, we need it to be a normal trapdoor so we can affect it. Then also here, we're going to affect its height. So we are going to replace this right here to become a powered one. And then right here, we're going to extend this out, therefore lowering our overall height by 1. Then right here, we're going to need 2 comparators. This comparator is going to go into a block, and same as this one. This one's going to go into a torch right here on the side. Where this one is going through a torch, sorry. Then we need some droppers. Going to the side. Right there, and then we'll have a comparator. And that comparator is going into a block, another block, 2 redstone dust. And because we need a comparator output with 2 redstone dust worth, we need to put a non-stackable item, so like a water bottle, or a chest plate, or sword. Then here, we are going to get out our repeaters. Then we'll have 2 repeaters, 2 more, all in 1 tick, and then a block. This is then going to go into another block here, but that's actually part of the decay clock, so we're going to leave that empty for now. So then we're going to put a block here, and then we're going to put a repeater, and then another block with dust, block, and then here we're going to break this block and put a slab. Right there, we're going to put another repeater. Alright, then we're going to have just a little bit more to do for the unloader. We're going to need to put a block here with a repeater. It's going to be going into another block with dust. Then instead of having the slab here, we're going to actually change that to a block so we can send power through it. And then we're going to get our slab. come around. Just going to just click off that torch right there, and then we're going to have a repeater. And so the basic idea of what we just put in is every time the hopper minecart comes in, it's going to unload, and then it's going to leave, and when it leaves, it's going to then trigger the decay clock, which is then going to send off the minecart. And then the second part that we put here, which is to the chest, is whenever the chest is empty, whenever the hopper minecart comes back, it will not then get released. So yeah. So with that, let's get working on the decay clock. Alright guys, now let's work on the decay clock. So first of all, come over here, and we're going to actually switch these two comparators around. So this comparator goes out, and this comparator goes in. Then we'll have 3 more that goes in. And then over here where it goes out, we will have a block, and then another comparator going out. And then we'll have 3 more blocks there. Then here, we're going to have another 2 blocks, a slab, and then another block. And we'll put dust here, dust there, repeater 2 ticks, repeater 4 ticks, repeater 4 ticks. Once you do that, we're going to come down here and put redstone dust, torch, and that is going to go into a dropper with a hopper, and we will put our water bottle in there, or whatever item you want to put there. Alright, then we're going to go up 2 blocks and put a comparator, and then we'll put a repeater. That goes into a block. And down here we'll have dust. Then we'll have another block with a repeater on 1 tick. Both of those being on 1 tick. And that's obviously going to power the hopper minecart. And then we'll put a block here so the hopper minecart doesn't come out. And once you do that, that is actually the entire decay clock system. And the nice thing about having this decay clock instead of the previous one is this one goes all the way to 64 items. So if you put in 64 terracotta, it will take all 64 before leaving. Whereas the old one might only take 16 or 32 or whatever. And so this maximizes every trip the hopper minecart takes. And with that, let's now work on the final hopper unloading system that's over here. Alright guys, now before we start working on the next one, we are actually going to need to destroy this previous one. The only thing that we need to make sure that we leave is this non-stackable item sorter we have here. Now because this redstone dust goes directly into this block, this will actually break the system, so we're going to actually put a tripwire hook here. And that is not actually going to affect anything, but unlike putting a lever there, the lever could accidentally get powered, therefore hurting the system. So then right here, we are going to put a powered rail here, and then we'll put one of these on a tilt. One of the normal rails on a tilt, just like that. Put a block there, one more, we'll have a trap door, then we'll come all the way out here, and put torch. The basic idea with this system is every time the hopper minecart comes up, it can go in, but it can't leave until the trapdoor is released. Then I'm going to get out some slabs, and on top of every single block that has a comparator going into it, we're going to put a torch. And then we'll put a block, and then we'll put a second torch. And then right here, we will actually take that off. It needs a block, just one slightly lower, and then we'll put a comparator output. The reason why this needs to be here is, especially when you make this even bigger here, is let's say you put an item that goes all the way to the junk. Well, if we had their old system in, then once it delivered all the items, it would leave the system, go pick up more, and then go drop them off. And because the hopper minecart can move faster than the items can in the hoppers, it could actually reset the item. So instead of the item going into the proper chest, it would go all the way to the junk chest. And we don't really want that. So this system makes the hopper minecart stay there till all the items have been delivered. So once you do that, we're going to get out our slabs. Then on the 5th one out, we're going to come out to put dust and then a repeater. And then, we don't need a repeater there. And then we're going to put some slabs here, so I'm just going to go under that. That's going to be a block. And then we'll have 2 out. This comes all the way back. We'll have dust there, then we'll have compare going out, compare going in, dust. Now, because of where this redstone torch is, it's actually powering that, so we don't actually want that. So I'm going to quickly just grab some glass, and I'm just going to move that one more back. Right like that, so it doesn't ever power that. Then we're going to have 2 repeaters, some dust, and this is going to be on 4 ticks, 2 ticks, and then this is going to be on 4 ticks. Right there, that just sets up the same thing we got here, just making sure that all the items go through. Now, while we're talking about the Hopper Minecart release system, I'm going to come over here to the bigger example, and there is just a couple more things we need to talk about. So, of course, redstone dust power will not go on forever. So every time you hit a corner, you're probably going to need to put a repeater. If you do, you have a really long one, you might need to put a repeater in here somewhere. So if you guys have one that's like 20 long, it's not a U shape, but it's just a straight line, and the redstone dust runs out, which it most likely will before it gets here, then you're going to probably have to put a repeater somewhere. Now, because of this system right here, even if you lose that just one pulse from this as the item is traveling through, this system will still keep the minecart where it is until that goes into place. So you don't need to worry about putting a repeater here, but if you put a repeater on all of these, then of course there's going to be a problem. The other and last thing that is optional is actually extending this all the way to your third one if you do a U shape. Because the minecart hopper is going to be stuck here in this loading system for all the 64 items, and then it has to get released. If you have a small enough system, so mine is 9 by 9 by 9, so mine is small enough. But if you have a 10 by 10 by 10, it is probably a little too big. The reason is the items have to go all the way through, so the hopper minecart will be able to make it back, pick up all 64 items, and come all the way around and be able to reset this here. So it's up to you whether you want to extend this all the way around, which is obviously just put your torches, put your blocks, and I can't place blocks, put your repeaters, put your slabs, and put your slabs with your dust, and then obviously extend this all the way around with all the other ones by doing the same repeater thing here. But like I said, that is the one part here that's actually optional. And another part that I wasn't going to mention, but while I'm over here, is whenever this hopper minecart's coming over here, it's going over at a slant. If you have your hoppers going out straight like this, there is the off chance that the hopper minecart hitbox could go over that hopper, even just ever so slightly, therefore accidentally dropping one of the items in here, which could therefore break the system, which again is something we do not want. So instead of making this a perfect square, just bring it in and make this like little hook. In doing so, you are going to remove all the risk that the hopper minecart could therefore break. Now, with that out of the way, let's now talk about the overflow. So the basic idea with this is very simple. If this hopper gets completely filled with items, so if there's like items in there, it gets completely filled, as you can hear here, there's going to be a beeping sound. Now this, I'm not actually going to show how to build this because it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'll just give you an overview here. But pretty much the basic idea is whenever this hopper is completely filled, and this is your junk hopper, it will be all filled all the way up, and that is going to give redstone output, which is going to trigger both of these. And there's 2 repeaters, one on 1 tick and one on 2 ticks. And basic idea is if we have items coming in from here, and you can see it just flashes because the items are just flashing through. But if it gets jam-packed with item overflow, it is going to beep. And so I just have this lever here so I can demonstrate it. So you'll be walking around your base, you'll hear the beeping noise, and that's going to let you know that your junk chest is completely full. So this is a small system that I highly recommend everyone put in, because otherwise you will eventually have problems with the backflow, and possibly you could lose items or end up breaking your entire sorter. So, first of all, come over to your previous one and just clear out some area so we can actually put the system in. Alright, so when actually building this, you are going to need one more block of space, which is going to end up breaking that rail right there. So, in order to fix that, we're just going to fill in these blocks, put a normal rail, put it at a turn, and then we're going to put a slab up, bring that up, and if you want, you can fill in those blocks. Then we actually do need to put one block here, and that's just going to stop that hopper minecart from jumping rails, which it will do here if you don't have that. And then we are also going to need a chest, because we are going to have to move this chest over. So I'm just going to come down here. And then on this first hopper, we'll need to replace that with the normal rail. And then we'll put that in, and we'll put that back in. And that's going to give you enough space to put everything you need in here. So we'll need a detector rail here. And this needs to be up at an angle. So I'm just going to break this, put it up at an angle, and stop. And then this will be a block. And then this will be a chest. Then we are going to have a piston there. And this is just a normal piston. No sticky piston required. And right here we're going to have a comparator come out. That's going to go into a block. And then down here, we will have dust going into a torch. That's going to go in dust and block. And then we'll have two like this, two dust. And then we're going to have one dust go up here. It's going to go into a block. Up like that. Then we'll have here, here. And there will be a block here. Then we're going to have a torch there. That's going to go like that into another block with another torch. And then we'll put another block and another torch right there. Now, right here, we need to make sure we change that rail to a redstone rail. And I mean a powered rail. Redstone rail. And then also, when coming down here, we need to make sure that that detector rail gets put back on a tilt. So we're going to just put a normal rail up there. And that's going to get that on a tilt, therefore putting the system back into action. So now when we start the hopper minecart up, it's going to come in. Oh, I also forgot one torch right there. So now when the hopper minecart comes in, it's good. Then this chest that we put in, the one thing you also need to do is you need to get out your slabs and stairs. So I'm just going to get out my smooth quartz stairs. And then we're going to need to put a slab there. And then when breaking that, you might have noticed that you broke a redstone dust. And that is part of the non-stackable item filter right here. So when breaking that, you also released this item that was trapped here. So make sure you put that item back. And if you are having trouble, you can put 2 or even 3 non-stackable items in there. But in Pocket, that shouldn't affect anything. But I've heard that in Java, there has been some issues with that. So just one thing to help you if you're troubleshooting some bugs. Then we'll put a slab there. Now we can open up the chest. And so with the hopper minecart in, I'm going to prepare this hopper minecart because there's no items in. I'm actually just going to do lazy way by just putting it in the chest and just send it off this way. So it goes in, collects the items from the chest, it goes in, nothing happens. So now, with this all done, you can just cover up the floor and store whatever you like. Alright guys, and that is going to be it. So if you guys like this video, please leave a like. And if you really like this video, please hit the subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next video.